This is an XS11. It's a 37-foot sailboat, a catamaran, obviously, as I'm sure you spotted for yourself. And the interesting thing about this is they've been building these for about 3 years, and they've sold over 200 of them. It's been an incredibly popular sailboat. So I'm going to take you on board of this, give you the full tour, and explain exactly why. It's an interesting one, this one. Not been on an XS before. But yeah, nice thing to see, and certainly nice to appreciate just why these are such a popular boat. So we're going to step on over here now. You can see there are twin helms on here, and you see the way these seats are configured here. So you've got the double seats at the helm, but they fold up. You can see that on this side. So that's how that works. We'll step on here, and of course, as ever with catamarans, the first thing to strike you is the sheer amount of beam. I mean, these are huge. As I say, it's a 37-foot boat, but look at it. Absolutely massive. And they've kept it quite low profile. They've kept the helms down here. Quite often on catamarans, what they do is put the helms up on top, but of course what that does is push the whole sail rig right up. With this, they've kept it all nice and low profile. It keeps the centre of load low as well, and it also makes the whole sail handling a lot more manageable. Talking of which, they brought all the lines off, so you can control everything from here. The only things you don't have here are on that side, which is the halyards. But yeah, pretty much everything is controlled from here. Twin engine controls, because she's twin engine, because of course she's a catamaran, so there's an engine in each hull. And in fact, I think I'll show you that while we're here, because we're literally stood on top of it. So if I flick, or stood on top of one of them at least, of course they're identical. If you have a look underneath here, there we go. What you've got there is a 29 horsepower Yanmar diesel, and that's giving the boat about 8 knots flat out and cruising at about 6. And we normally talk about range, but of course it's a sailboat, so we're not going to, because as long as there's wind, it'll keep on going. As I mentioned, there's 2 of those. They're sail drive units, so the power comes out and goes straight down into a little unit underneath the propeller. And so that keeps that all nice and compact and back under there. So that's that little fella. Let's close those back down. There we go. Now the cockpit area, you can see we've got seating pretty much on all sides, so it's a very, very sociable space. And then over on this side we've got a mirror of what we just saw, the helm position again, with the 2 seats that fold up. And again, you've got engine controls and so forth. You can put a multifunction display here if you want to. Stuff going on in the background. The other thing you've got here is these canopies. So you can enclose this whole area if you want to and create it as an extension of the interior, which is rather nice. And talking of which, if we head on in, so sliding door here, of course. And what's nice with the catamaran compared to most sailing boats this size is you're not going down into the cabin. Everything's all on one level. Not only that, but when you go in here, it's really light and bright because you've got the big windows all the way around. You've got the great view all the way around. That's excellent. Saloon area here, little chart table as well, as you can see in the corner, and then the galley is here. So usual sort of stuff, the fridge, the oven, the gas hob, sink is here, and then lots of bits of storage around the place. So this sort of thing here, like a little larder, and it's tucked away here, it's up here, and so forth. Bins in there. And then over on this side is a bit more storage. Excellent. So if we head down here, first of all, there are 2 cabins on this side. These are both guest cabins. The owner's cabin is on the other side. If we go forward, first of all, double cabin up here. And this, as you'd expect, has got hanging locker and so forth. And you've got hull windows here. That square, so rectangular I should say, section there is an opening section, but you've also got an opening hatch overhead as well. And these have got, of course, blinds that come across them. Bit more storage there. And this closes off thusly. And as we come on back, Day heads is here, so this is basically shared between these two cabins and obviously for use during the day. So we've got the loo there and the sink, and then there's a pretty decent shower on this side. Look at this. That's a nice size, isn't it? So that's that fella, and then if we come back again, there is another cabin back here. Again, it's a double, a little bit smaller, this one. But a decent sized square bed. Quite often with these, when you get back further in the hull, they narrow up quite a bit, but this doesn't. This is a really big bed. What you lose is perhaps a little bit of storage compared to the cabin that's further forward. But nonetheless, you know, it still has it, obviously. Just not quite as much. So that's very good. Again with a hatch overhead, again with the hull window and the opening section. And then what's particularly impressive, I think, is if we cross over on this side, this is all owner's cabin. Now it's worth mentioning that if you want a 4-cabin configuration, you can have it. You can have this side laid out identically to what we just saw. However, it has to be said, if you want comfort, well then you've got it with this owner cabin configuration. Look at this. Remember, this is a 37-foot boat. That's vast, isn't it? This is a sliding section, so you can close this across to enclose this cabin completely, obviously for privacy. And then a massive bed here. I think that's about 2 meters by 2 meters. It's really huge. Again, of course, you've got the hull windows and the hatch overhead and all that kind of stuff. But then the other thing you have in here, apart from this dressing table, is up here. Check out this for an ensuite. That is an ensuite out of a 50-foot boat, isn't it? It's huge. Absolutely huge. That's fantastic. Let's come right up through. There we go. That is a very comfortable area. And then in behind here, we've got storage and hanging. There we go. That's pretty impressive, isn't it? That is a nice space. You can imagine spending some time on this, couldn't you? Okay, let's come out of here. Some of the 12-volt switching is here. And we'll go and take a turn around the decks. So, shoes back on. That hatch there is another engine hatch, exactly the same as the one we just looked at. And then we'll come back to the helm here. Worth mentioning, actually, that when you're at this helm, it's got the multifunction display on this one, you can see obviously right down through here, but you can also see through here, so you can see all the corners of the boat really well. That works quite well. And then we'll head on up. And again, classic catamaran with these massive side decks. Now this is what I'm talking about. You can step up onto here and you can reach all of this to zip up the sail cover, that kind of thing. Slab reefing on this one and roller furling on the foresail. But all nice and manageable. In fact, the whole boat is designed to be managed by 2 people very, very easily. And that is the kind of demographic that they normally get by them. It's a couple want to put this somewhere nice, have their friends or their family down, manage it on their own. Fantastic. Let's take a wander over here. These are deck lockers up here. So if we undo this and this, you'll see there is acres of space down there. I think that's probably the water tank in there as well. There we go. And then around on this side, anchor chain locker. There we are. Let's go right up to the front. These are what they call dolphin seats because they're great places to sit and look out for dolphins. You've got them on both sides. Tons of space, isn't there? And then finally, if that wasn't enough storage for you that you've already seen, well then, we've got these massive, massive lockers up here in the bow. These are fantastic for, I don't know, inflatable paddle boards or some scuba gear or anything else that you want really to keep up there. That's a very, very useful space. And that, my friends, I think is about the size of that. That's an impressive boat, isn't it? I am going to say massive thanks to Sea Ventures. They organised this tour. I'm going to say massive thanks, of course, as ever, to you guys for watching it. But let me know what you think of that one. I think that's been an intriguing boat. And we'll catch you on another one of these very soon. Take care. Bye-bye.